Alright guys, what's going on? It's Kage. And in today's video, I'm going to be going over my raidraptor deck profile. So if you guys saw my VanTuber episode 3 where I had brought in Cybernite, I had brought up that this is probably my favorite Xyz base deck, and I figured it was final time I did a deck profile on it. Also, I'd also promised in that last video I'd do an update about where I was and why I haven't been uploading, which will be its own separate video. And yeah, let's get started on the deck. So starting off with the main deck, I am running 3 copies of Raidraptor Vanishing Lanius. Vanishing Lanius has the effect of when he is normal or special summoned, you can special summon another Raidraptor from hand. Oh, sorry, once per turn during your main phase, if this card was normal or special summon one level 4 or lower Raidraptor from your hand. So this just helps you get extra buys on board to go into your Xyz plays / Link plays, and overall helps you build up your board and everything else. Alright, next I am running 3 copies of Raidraptor Stranglelanius. Now, Stranglelanius, his effect is if you control a dark monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dark, which is not a problem, as this is an all dark deck, basically. If you control an Xyz monster with a dark Xyz monster as a material, you can target one level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but its effects are negated, and you can only use each effect once per turn. So basically, this card is a free special summon. It's kind of like the Lady Debug of the deck, if you want to call it that. So a lot of times what you'll do is you'll have out your Force Tricks, and then we will go over this in the extra deck. But then you'll rank up into like your Revolution Falcon Air Raid. Then you can use this guy, bring back another material. Well, not another material, but like another card, and continue to extend if you wish. Alright, moving on. The next card we run is 3 copies of Tribute Lanius. Now, when this card is summoned, it's like a Foolish Burial, so you can send a Raidraptor from your deck to the grave. And a lot of times, the reason you will be doing that is so that this way you can send your copies of Mimicry to the grave. So when Raidraptor Mimicry Lanius is sent to the grave, during the turn it was sent there, you can banish it and add a Raidraptor from deck to hand. Which is really good because if you need a call, like let's say you open up Tribute Lanius, like let's just say you open up Vanishing and Tribute Lanius, you can use Vanishing, summon that, use the effect, summon Tribute, use Tribute, get rid of your Mimicry. Mimicry gets banished, gets you, like, let's say, your Stranglelanius. And then right there, you're set up for a Link and Xyz play. Next, I'm running 3 copies of Raidraptor Painlanius. Painlanius is another not free, but it's another special summon. And what you do is you target one monster, you take damage equal to its attack or defense points, whichever is lower, and then you special summon this card and it gets that monster's level. Sadly, it does not work with 0/0s. I tried that in the past and it does not work. Again, this is another free extender. Next, I'm running 2 copies of Raidraptor Heel Eagle. Heel Eagle's ability is, if all monsters you control are Raidraptor monsters, minimum 1, You can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this card from the grave. Then target one raidraptor spell or trap in your grave added to hand. So this can help you recycle your rank up spells or your traps. Now, the reason why I only run this at 2 is because it's a level 3, and this deck is a very heavy rank 4 base deck. So this is good for this card's good for your link plays, but aside from that, you don't really use it that often outside of that. Next, I'm running 2 copies of Raider's Wing. Basically, you detach a material from a Dark Xyz monster and you can special summon this card. Then I am playing a single copy of raidraptor Singing Lanius. If you control a Dark Xyz monster, special summon it. Also, if you control a face-up Xyz monster, but close enough. Then I'm running a single copy of Raidraptor Lastrix. This card's ability is... oh boy, this text is actually small. Let's see if my eyes watching. Let me see this. If a Raidraptor monster you control battles while you have any spell trap on your field or in your graveyard during damage calc in in either player's turn, you can special summon this card from your hand, then gain 100 life points for each spell and trap you control and in your grave. You contribute this card. Your opponent takes no battle damage this turn. Also, you special summon one Raidraptor Xyz monster from your extra deck in defense, but its effects are negated. Also, return that to the extra deck during the end phase. And you can only use each effect once per turn. This effect once per turn. So this is a card you don't really use too often. Can come in handy, but... alright, now for the hand traps, I am running 3 DD Crow. When you can discard it, banish something from your opponent's grave. I chose this hand trap mainly because of the bird theme. This whole deck is birds basically, so DD Crow just fit. I mean, you can run whatever you want. You can run Ash, you can run Veiler, you can run Ghost Ogre, you can run Phantasme even. Personally, I chose Crow just more for the aesthetic to go with the deck, but it is also really good to get stuff out of your opponent's grave depending on what deck they're playing. This can kind of hurt Outglitch because you can get rid of this, banish their Golden Boy from grave, and if you get rid of all 3, well, that's going to hurt them a little bit. Alright, moving on to the spells. I am running 2 copies of Rank Up Magic Skip Force. You can basically rank up to a monster that's 2 ranks higher. Need I say any more? I am running 2 copies of Rank Up Magic Soul Shade Force. You pay half your life points, then you can bring an Xyz monster back from the grave, and you rank it up 1 rank higher. And then I'm running 2 copies of Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic Force. So you banish dark monsters, and then you rank up to the number you banished. That's about all I really have to say. And then I am running 2 copies of Allure of Darkness. This card is basically to help you get, extra draw power. Now, it is kind of a risky move because you are banishing cards. And, I mean, you do have a card that helps you bring them back, but it still hurts nonetheless if you, let's say you only have this card and let's say you draw a card that could have helped you in just a random spell. You're forced to banish that dark monster, which can really screw your plays. I am running a single copy of Raidraptor Nest. Whenever you have 2 or more Raidraptors, add a Raidraptor from deck to hand. Called by the Grave, helps stop hand traps, and it stops, other decks are pretty graveyard reliant. Monster Reborn, bring back your cards. Harpy's Feather Duster, bring back, not bring back, wipe out your opponent's back row. 1-for-1, help you get out your Raidraptors. Then moving on to the traps. I'm running 2 copies of Raidraptor's Phantom Knight Claw. Raidraptor's Phantom Knight's Claw. It's a counter trap, and this says, when a monster effect is activated, detach 1 material from your Dark Xyz monster. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then, if the detached material was the Phantom Knight's Raidraptor or Xyz Dragon card, one card, I cannot talk today, sorry. If it was a Phantom Knight Raidraptor or Dark Dragon card, 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster you control gains attack equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. You can only activate the effect of the Phantom of this card once per turn. Yeah, sorry, I cannot speak English. Plus, the way the card is written sometimes can throw me off. And then last but not least is a copy of Readiness. Basically prevents your monsters from being destroyed. You can banish it from grave and take no battle damage. Alright, so that is it for the main deck. Now we are going to move on to the extra deck. Starting off, I'm running 2 copies of Raidraptor Force Strix. Force Strix is it takes 2 level 4 Darkwing Beast monsters, or 2 level 4s, and you can detach 1 and special summon. No, it's add 1 to hand, my bad. It also gains 500 attack and defense for each winged beast monster you control, except this card. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Add 1 level 4 Darkwing Beast from deck to hand. So this kind of starts off our combo plays with our Link monster, which we'll get into then. I'm running a single copy of Rise Falcon. Basically can steal your opponent's monster's attack. This card you don't go into a lot, but it is kind of fun to use. However, you're going to be going into your 4 Strix Mars. This takes 3 level 4s. And for 3 level 4s, you could use 2 of them for a link. And then you keep your 3rd one. Then with the link effect, you bring out a 4th. And you go into your 4 Strix. I'm also running a single copy of Blade Burner Falcon. So this card's effect is, if this card is Xyz summoned and your opponent's life points are at least 3,000 higher than yours, you can make this card gain 3,000 attack. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can detach any number of Xyz materials from this card, destroy exactly that number of monsters your opponent controls. So if you bring this out when you have, let's say your opponent has 5,000, you have 1,000 or something, this becomes a 4K speed stick basically that can get rid of other monsters. Sadly, you can't get rid of spells and traps, but I mean, there's nothing I can do. I'm also running a single copy of Blaze Falcon. Now, Blaze Falcon says, this card can attack directly while it has Xyz material. Let's just lost my train of thought for a second. When this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can target 1 monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card. Destroy as many special summon monsters your opponent controls as possible. If you do, inflict 500 for each monster destroyed. Now, this is a card you barely go into. The only way you really can go into it is with your Soul Shave Force, or if you use the Phantom Knight rank up card and get rid of 1. But for that, you might as well just use that to go into one of your higher ranks. But this is kind of a funny card to go into. I've gone into it a couple times. I've won some games that I stole from my opponent. I should have not been able to win. But it is an interesting choice. Single copy of Infinity. This is a card you don't go into a lot. Still, most times you go into your Raidraptors, but it can come in handy. Revolution Falcon Air Raid. This card says, basically you can discard a rank up. So like, let's say you have a rank up spell that you can't use. Like, let's just say Soul Shave. You can discard it, go into this. Also, materials are transferred. And then if this card succeeds summon, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy it. Feels face up, inflict damage equal to your opponent, or to your opponent equal to that monster's attack it had on the field. So basically, like, if your opponent buffed up a monster and you bring out Air Raid, well, they're taking the full brunt of that damage. Also, if this card is destroyed, well, like when this card is destroyed, this actually floats into our next card, which is Revolution Falcon. And Revolution Falcon basically can attack all special summon monsters and puts their attack to 0. Next, I run a copy of Arsenal Falcon. Again, not much of a card you go into, but it does come in handy from time to time. I personally like it. Then I am running 2 copies of Satellite Cannon Falcon. So this card, when it's summoned, you can detach 1, and you're target a monster, and it loses 500 per Raidraptor in your deck. Not your deck, your graveyard. If it was your deck, your opponent would be losing a lot of attack points. But this card basically helps you beat over the cards that are really high power. Because this deck kind of struggles with, having high attack points. So this being able to, bring it down, bring those monsters down a little bit, definitely helps. Next, I run a copy of Ultimate Falcon. Ultimate Falcon is usually the card you want to go into, and its effect is it's unaffected by other card effects. You can detach 1 material from this card. For the rest of this turn, all monsters your opponent controls will lose 1,000 attack. Also, your opponent's cards and effects cannot be activated. If this card has a Raidraptor Xyz material, it gains this effect. Once per turn, during the end phase, so both end phases, you can make all monsters your opponent controls lose 1,000 attack. If your opponent controls no face-up monsters, inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent instead. So, yeah, that's a really good card to run. I actually kind of, got lucky. My friend sent that to me. The last Xyz monster we run is Final Fortress Falcon. And Final Fortress says, if this card has a Raidraptor Xyz material as an Xyz material, is unaffected by other card effects, so just like Ultimate Falcon. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Return all your banished Raidraptor monsters to the graveyard. Up to twice per turn. When this attacking card destroys a monster by battle, you can banish 1 Raidraptor Xyz monster from your graveyard. This card can attack again. So basically, if your opponent has like 3 monsters, you can use Ultimate Falcon to clear them out. Final Fortress to clear them out. And then you can use your other Raidraptors to go in for the finishing move. And then the last 2 cards I'm running is Raidraptor Y-Strix. So Y-Strix, when it's summoned, you can special summon at level 4 or lower raidraptor, negate its effects, and then when an Xyz monster's effect is activated, you can set one rank up spell from your deck to the field. So yeah, that is my Raidraptor deck profile. I hope you all have enjoyed. I know I haven't done a deck profile in a while, but I've been, kind of busy with other things, and I've been kind of just burned out in general. So I just kind of feel like deck profiles have just been like the same thing over and over, and I just needed a mental break. But anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed, and I will catch you in the next video. See ya.